A very warm welcome to another video, guys. Today we are having a read through this article from Triathlon magazine Canada. Has Lionel Sanders dropped another coach? Now, this is touching on his more recent or most recent video where he was disappointed with his season, generally quite pessimistic in the outlook of the, on reflection of his season, and kind of said that he'd be going his own way in 2023. Now, before we get into it, it's quite interesting because he was getting coached by Mikel, Iden, the brother of Gustav Iden, throughout the 2022 season. He had some great results. He got second at the Ironman World Champs in St. George. He had some other good results. Ironman Mont Tremblant, had the victory there, among other things. And obviously some disappointing results from his perspective too. I think before we get into reading through, it's very interesting if he is going to go his own way, because it's kind of like he's gone full circle in terms of always being self-coached, then having a few average races or trying to change everything up from his original setup or his original style of how he'd coach himself, trying out different coaches, testing different things, making a lot of changes over the last few years, and now kind of ended up full circle back around to, hey, I'm just going to go back to what I used to do back in 2016, 17. We know that in 2016, he had one of his best lifetime performances at Ironman Arizona, broke the Ironman world record at the time there. And, somewhere in the realm of 7 hours, 44-ish or something like that. And then obviously went to Kona in 2017, had a fantastic result there, second at the Ironman World Championship. And then it kind of became this chasing of the next best thing. How can I change everything? And he changed a lot, and now he's full circle back to, I'm just going to go coach myself again. He hasn't necessarily come out and said that, but certainly implying it in his more recent video. So we'll read through and let me know what you guys think. I'm a big Lionel fan. I think that I would love to see him go back to his old methods, because that's when he was really hungry to race. He was hungry to succeed, and it was obviously working for him. So let's have a read through. Let me know what you guys think. Post anything in the comments below. It's now or never for me, the Canadian Star. Says the Canadian Star. I believe I have what it takes, and I know how to do it. So, while he doesn't come out and say it, Lionel Sanders' latest video, which is embedded in this article, I'll link this article as well for anyone who wants to read it. Also the video, even just because it's certainly an entertaining watch. Lionel Sanders' latest video certainly seems to imply that he is no longer working with coach Mikel Iden, describing his season as mediocre at best. Wouldn't it be nice to call a season that included runner-up finishes at the World Championship in St. George and 70.3 Oceanside, a win in Mont Tremblant, and the third fastest performance on the day at Collins Cup, mediocre? I think it would be quite nice to say. Sanders spends much of his year-end recap video suggesting that he'll be following his own plans in 2023. I'm not happy with the year. I had my little boy. That was the highlight of the year, undoubtedly, of course. So, and he still had some great results, but obviously, having a son or having any child, of course, your first child particularly, should be the highlight of a year, regardless of how well your triathlon goes. Win the World Championships, this should still be the highlight of the year. You aren't an athlete to your core if you're happy with a year where you've had maybe one good result, maybe one okay result. I'm no longer feared, Sanders continued. I'm not even a factor anymore. Sanders makes it clear in the video that he's confident he knows what type of training he needs to do, and that he wasn't doing that in 2022. I know how to do it. The thing I've lacked is confidence in myself and the process, he says. I had it right years ago. I still believe my bike run combo, when I was good, is on par with anyone. I know how to get there, and I will get there. I know how to get back to where I need to be. I'm hungry. I'm ready. I believe I have what it takes, and I know how to do it. That's where I head from here. According to Sanders, there's no right way to train. There is a right way for you to train. I agree with this point entirely. Everyone's going to be... There are some very core and basic principles that apply to generally most people. However, what's individually best for you regarding how you respond will ultimately be determined by your background in training, your genetics, your lifestyle, and just your individual response and capacity to recover, adapt, absorb the training, and everyone's going to be unique in that sense. I also think, though, however, and this is one thing that, you know, is worth mentioning. He was only with Mikel Iden for a year. And remember that doing something for a year and trying to compare results to guys who have been doing that same thing for 10 plus years is a little bit unreasonable, in the sense of like Gustav and Christian, you know, on this similar program for the last 10 plus years. For Lionel to kind of come around for 1 year, or come in for 1 year, not be happy with the results merely because he had a few average races. I don't know if if he's giving it enough time, but obviously he feels like his time's kind of running out in sport. Maybe, you know, he's maybe got another 5 or so years, and he's gone back to his old methods nonetheless. Well, that's what he implies. So the 34-year-old Canadian star is certainly passionate in the video and intends to take that intensity into his race season this year. I race my best when I'm mad, he said. That's what I come into 2023 with. I believe that I can still compete with the best in the world. While he acknowledges that Jan Frodeno put together two of the most amazing 70.3, the Germans win at the Ironman 70.3 World Championship in 2018, and full distance, his record-setting day in Kona in 2019, performances at 38 and 39. According to Sanders, his time to compete at the top level of the sport is limited. You've got no time, he added. It's now or never for me. It's important to note that Sanders doesn't explicitly state that he's no longer working with Iden in the video. In 2017, Sanders worked with David Tilbury Davis, which ended in the Canadians' first runner-up finish at the Ironman World Championship. Shortly after that breakthrough day, Sanders stopped working with a British coach, only to start working with him again a few years later. The pair parted ways again in 2021, and shortly after that, Sanders started working with Iden. We've reached out to Sanders' team for comment, and we'll update the story if we hear back from them. Iden continues to list Sanders as an athlete. He coaches on his website, and here's the video embedded here. So I think ultimately, you know, it's not confirmed or, you know, absolutely set in stone as to whether he will be going off on his own. However, and I have watched the video, he highly implies that that will be the route he's taking in 2023. Or even if he stays with Mikel Iden, at least going back, you know, maybe under the guidance of Iden, going back to some of his older methods of training, doing more of the intensity, but also, and I remember this was one of the things when I was training for triathlon that I found fascinating, was the kind of general approach, or, you know, structured approach to training weeks and then a recovery week. And often it would either be, and most often athletes will go through 3 weeks of building up and then having a recovery week. Remember, Lionel was quite unique in his approach in stating that he would have like a 10-day block where he would do, and I'm pretty sure it was a 10-day block. Yeah, he would do 6 days of very hard training and then have like 4 recovery days. So if you extrapolate that out, it's going to be 12 days on to 8 days off. So it's kind of similar to like a 2-week, 1 week. But he was very focused on recovery. And I think that obviously going into Kona 2022, the one that has just gone back in October, he was certainly, you know, well and truly burnt out by then. So, you know, let me know what you guys think. I think it would be awesome, in fact, if he does kind of go back to what's always worked for him, doesn't get too worried or caught up in the minutiae or nuance of too much testing, and goes back to the basics. So let me know again. Post any comments below. Take care, guys. See you in the next video. A very warm welcome